Welcome fellow detectives, and this is a video after quite some time that I want to talk about Cain's Jawbone once more, which is this book. And if you want to follow my journey, subscribe to the channel, would help me a lot, and comment down below, did you already start your journey with Cain's Jawbone? You may know it from TikTok, you may know it from my channel, from other channels. It is a murder mystery written in the 1930s, and it took quite some time to be solved once again. Because originally it was only solved by two people, and afterwards it kind of vanished into not existing anymore until Unbound revived it and published it once again. And John Finnemore solved it, etc, etc. The rest is history and the researcher's first murder. But we're gonna talk about Cain's Jawbone today and how to approach solving the pages. If you follow my channel already, then you know that I'm from Germany and I got the German version here, which kind of is a little different to the original one in English, but it is directly translated. So all the pages are, as far as possible, translated directly into German, and the structure of the pages, even the order of the pages in the printed version are the same. And yes, I took the time to compare these two versions. And to begin with, I want to show you the pages that I've worked on together with my wife, and we marked a lot of things, we put some post-its on it. If you go through social media, you'll see a lot of videos about creating these murder boards and hanging up all the pages on the wall. You need some space for that. So take that into consideration. You need this format like times 100, which takes a lot of space. And it also might not be the best way to work in a wall setting, because you need to reread all the pages over and over again. You need to mark little things, and working with a red thread to connect pages doesn't really help. But I must say it looks quite cool on a wall, and I also thought about kind of building a huge frame for framing the correct solution with the marked pages. You can see the time has passed since solving this murder mystery because the sun left his mark. Her mark? Whatever the sun is. Because I did not want to buy another version of the book and I already solved it, I work with the digital version, and I tried to give you a quick example of how I would approach starting Cain's Jawbone. The first thing you need to do is rip out all the pages or cut out all the pages. The printed one that I have got this pre-cut area where it was quite easy to rip out the pages. And then you have 100 pages loose. On the other hand, there is a digital version that is quite similar to the original published version in English that you can download on Reddit, for example. You may find it elsewhere in the internet. And I'll work with that one. Then it looks like this, and you can read through all the pages. And if you got a similar fancy setup with an Apple Pencil, etc., or the tablet you use or prefer to use, that makes it easy to mark things and add notes. And I usually like my pages plain and clear, so I don't like writing on them, but for this type we started out with marking things and tried to use a color code, etc., which a lot of people seem to do, and it helps, so it also looks cool at the end. But you cannot easily correct things if you made a mistake, for example, or and the space is also limited on these pages, as you can see. You've got this little area for notes, and I don't think that is enough if you try to solve everything. We are going to start with page 3 because it holds a lot of information and we try to kind of get everything covered. First off, we read the page and start by marking all the names that appear. So all the people mentioned with their name are being marked. I use blue for this, so use whatever color you want. But I highly recommend using different colors because it makes it easier to get back to a page and see how many people are there, etc. So we can mark Clement or Clement. We have Austin Freeman, Oppenheim, and Mary Roberts Reinhardt. And while Clement rather indicates a special person that is involved in the plot, the other names might give you some clue about people referenced that are famous or were famous or have a particular background story that needs to be known. The next thing we did was marking everything that referenced time. So for example, we have yesterday, we also have We also have at the end of less than a week, and that may provide some context or help to kind of arrange things later when we know more about the plot. Something that might be optional or that I did not find that helpful was marking all the other people involved but not mentioned directly, like the assassins. Then there's also they, my mother, and the red squaw. So for now, my page looks like this, and this could be done with all the other pages. And one last thing that is kind of interesting, to mark all the things mentioned. So that could be anything that is of a particular interest to you. And on this page, it strikes to me the wonderful substance. We got the second pill, or my second pill, from the narrator's point of view. And we got a rainproof coat and good shoes. So that is what we are working with, and I think you can get a lot out of these points. And I'd recommend to work through all the pages, doing this, reading everything once or twice, and you'll start making sense out of the pages. An additional tip, you can underline everything that seems odd to you, which could also be names, etc., that you need to Google. And there are some helpful references or resources that you'll need more often, though it is not very likely that you'll find them on your own. For some, this might be true because they are quite famous. Others are very specific and not very common nowadays. But they obviously have been back in the days, so the people solving this puzzle were able to know this. At least the two that did solve it. Assuming you did that to all the pages, I'd start Googling the hell out of it. Especially the things you underlined, because there might be some references you can connect to other pages, and that will help forming groups. I spoke about that for the researcher's first murder as well, and trust me, there's gonna be a similar video about those pages or the whole puzzle. But forming groups of pages and adding pages to these groups in order to get a better overview and get an understanding of what is actually happening helps a lot. I was very puzzled while my first read-through, and it was very challenging forming the actual plot, especially as a non-native speaker, and it's something like a running gag that I always refer to. If you watch my videos regularly, you know about that. It isn't as easy as a non-native speaker to get everything by the first read-through. And the translation is quite bad, and they changed some details which make it a little more difficult, though otherwise it wouldn't work in the translation because sometimes the words need to be precise. But if you want to know more about translating these kinds of puzzles, I've got a video that covers this topic, so just click here and watch this video. But maybe do this afterwards or at the end of the video. Assuming you've read all the pages, you've marked everything that is of interest to you, you Googled a lot of things and you found some resources that will be helpful, and there are a couple of them that you will need for the whole book. Others are just mentioned somewhere and elsewhere. You will form your first understanding of the plot, and that is very good. I'll advise you to find the mechanic used for each and every chapter. And yeah, there are chapters. You can kind of easily differentiate them, and you definitely have to. And there are some that are quite easy to get, some that are a little harder to get. And I'd also advise you to go and understand who Henry is. He is the most essential part of Cain's Jawbone. That's it for today's video. I just wanted to do another video on Cain's Jawbone, providing some guidance and kind of insight in how I approached this murder mystery puzzle, which I solved. So Cain's Jawbone is in the books. That was a bad one. And I hope to see you soon on the next video. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, comment how you approached this murder mystery puzzle. I'm very excited to see your approaches, and maybe I can learn from you. And in the end, I want to announce something, or at least kind of hint on something. There's gonna be more of Cain's Jawbone related stuff, I guess. That's it for this video. Bye.